Welcome to another episode of the Building Bridges Gateway program. Coming to you A9TV from A9TV Istanbul, and we are broadcasting in cooperation with WTP and an American network. Our goal is to bring peace, love and brotherhood to all mankind, regardless faith or nationality. And today we have another distinguished guest, and I let my friend to introduce him now.
We have a very distinguished guest today. Mr. Yvon Kamach is an industrialist from the Central African Republic and CEO of the Kamach Group, covering diverse economic sectors such as energy distribution, the timber industry, mining, construction, and public works. Yvon Kamach is the Vice President of the Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Crafts, CCIMA, Vice President of the Central African Interprofessional Group, IPAC, and the country's largest employers organization of the Central African Republic. The Kamach Group is an economic leader in the Central African Republic and is the largest employer in the country after the Central African government itself. The CEO of the Kamach Group is based in Bangui, Central African Republic. The Kamach Group is the leading distributor of the Central African Republic. Its activities are extremely diverse, such as energy distribution in the electrical field, food, and the company is also involved in housing and construction. The group is also known for its involvement in the forestry and mining. Mr. Kamach, welcome. It's a pleasure and honor to have you.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
If you would like to add anything to your CV, please go ahead and do it.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Jerry, you are welcome also.
Thank you, Akhtar. It's very nice to be here.
Okay.
It's very nice to meet you, Mr. Kamach.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So we will have some questions for you, Mr. Kamach.
Yes, Mr. Kamach, welcome again. And I'm asking you, what's your impression of the current and ongoing global economic crisis?
Okay. Please allow me first to thank your channel to give me this opportunity as an African businessman to share my point of view about the global economic situation. As I see the current and ongoing economic crisis, we can say that this crisis today is global, and these effects are deep and negative on the economy of all the countries. In Africa, we start to feel the reality of this impact in December 2008, after the scandal of subprimes in America with the toxin loan in the bank. Our forestry sector started to suffer because there were no more orders coming from the developing countries. So the social and economic impacts were very important, and how African countries with the economies based on forestry revenues suffer a lot. But we can say that this crisis, like all the crises in the world, is a cycle, less or more long. And after the rain, I think the sun will come, and even the things will never be the same. But the lessons that we can share, I think, with this crisis are that financial markets are not really real markets. And sometimes it's better to understand and follow the signs of this real economy was giving to us. But for my opinion, I think the crisis, even the social impact, was very terrible. And we see in some European countries like Greece, Italy, Spain, Portugal, but was necessary, I think, to stop this unreal and incredible waves of this global virtual economy and to establish, I think, new basis of our economy, basis and values, more equity and more reality.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Jerry, your comment on that?
Well, the effects of the economies all over the world are definitely being felt, even in the U.S. We have a lot of places here that report our unemployment at 10 or 11%, but the way they figure our unemployment in this country is by those that sign up for unemployment benefits or that are looking for work. What we're not seeing are the people that have run out of those benefits. So the impact of what's going on in the economy around the world right now, and even in the U.S., the actual unemployment rate here is between 20 and 35%, which is very, very low. It's the lowest it's been since the Depression here in this country. So I agree completely that the lessons that the entire world can learn from this economic crunch that is affecting everybody are valuable in looking at how we got to this point. And I especially agree with the situation that we've had with banks with as far as junk bonds and stuff like this. The housing bubble in the U.S., the financial problems in Greece and Europe, these are all, I think they were foreseen by banks, but I don't think that the economy going the way it was as foreseen by banks. I think they were looking at the upside while reality was looking at the downside, and I think they clashed in the middle. So I definitely think there are lessons to learn here all over. And one thing that I have to point out, if you look at actually points in the Middle East, I've had this conversation a few times, is that it seems like the Western world and the Eastern world have kind of switched places. Because if you go back 20 years ago and look at unemployment overseas and unemployment here, 20 or 30 years ago in the Western world, unemployment wasn't that bad, and it was pretty bad off in the Middle East in places. Now we've seen a turnaround on that, to where some parts of the Middle East unemployment is very low, and in the Western world it's come up. And part of that is I would say that partially because of the things like the junk bonds and the stuff that has went on in the banking industry here in the U.S. and internationally.
Well, of course there are some technical reasons, but one of the main reasons is that the law was taken from the world, and egoism and selfishness prevailed the world in the 20th century because of many perverted ideologies which spread worldwide. And that generated this economic crisis. For example, if you imagine a world without trillions of dollars going into the weapon industry, for example, if this money would go for the wealth of the people, there would be wealth, justice, and no hunger for starvation all around the world. And we hope these days are coming, but because we understood we had this bad experience of the 20th century, and the 21st century things will change, we hope.